Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of the River Rats. Today we're going to be going over our top 5 baits for spring. We got a few baits here that we think could help you catch more and big fish in the spring. Stay tuned. Alright, the first bait we'll be going over in our top 5 is swim jigs and swim jig trailers. And I'll hand off to Logan to talk about the swim jig trailers.
Yeah, our main swim jigs that we usually use is the Outcast heavy cover swim jig. It's great. It has a little bit of a heavier keeper, so it bounces off wood and doesn't have. And there's a bunch of different colors you can get, as you can see here. We use either Dirty Money or Perch, are kind of a really good clear water baits. And then you can get into more of the whites and the black and blues and kind of stuff like that for weird, more dirty water. And you can do some chartreuse, a little bit of chartreuse in there too. But the trailers that we like to use is you can get a Kitech Fat Impact 3.8 or 4.3 is kind of like our main size we like to use. And Sungill for clear water. And then you can get kind of that black and blue color or more of a brighter color. And another one I like to use is the Rage Mask, kind of when you're more in shallow water, because more of those craw baits, you can reel it a little bit slower in shallower water because it kind of lifts bait up a little more. We like to use that blue craw, and that's kind of our best color for clear water. You can, of course, do your more black and blues and your lighter colors for that dirty water to get more visibility. And then a secret bait that not very many people seem to use on this thing, but I really love using it, is the Ribbit. This color is Red Bone, I believe. It's the Red Bone. It's got a little bit of pearl at the bottom, and on top is green. But yeah, I was using it in a tournament last year, just basically trying it out, because I was like, well, maybe it's just something new that they haven't seen. And it caught a 3.5 pounder on it, so I mean, it works. I'm gonna be using it definitely more this year, and kind of dialing that in with that kind of with a rivet. So yeah.
On to the next bait. What we're talking about is bigger swim baits, like mag drafts and just a bigger style swim baits that you throw for big fish.
Yeah, so one that not very many people know about, and it's kind of a smaller brand, is 316. They make a great line through swim bait. That's a bluegill color, but I also like the crappie color. Those are the two I've tried. It's super soft. And once with a line through, the great thing with a line through is that your bait can get out of the way once you hook a fish, so it has less leverage to throw the hook. That's what I really like a line throughs for. And you can reel this one super slowly because it's really soft plastic, so it can get an extra kick at really slow speeds. And then another one that everyone knows about is the mag draft. I like to get that albino pearl kind of color, just more of a whiter color. But then we also got MB Gizzard. That is also a great color that we use. You can also get, I believe it's a brownie color too. There's just a bunch of different colors that you can get in these ones. They're great, especially if you dial in the speed, because if you go really slow, their tail does not kick. But once you get that great speed where the tail just kicks, that's kind of the money zone where you're going to want to kind of dial in that speed. And they skip super far. Super fast.
Another thing too with the mag drafts is when you get that speed, the head and the tail will both be moving. They'll both move, and so if you don't get it, it'll roll and all that stuff. So once you get that speed, it's very easy to catch fish.
And then another one for grass and kind of like that cover, thicker cover.
Mega Bass Freestyle. This is the Perch color, and these don't have the treble hook on the bottom like the normal mag drafts do. So what you do is you get an owner beast hook and the 6/0, and you just rig it like a Texas rig, and you can wind it through milfoil, coontail, and just weedier areas. Another great spot too is lily pads. You can just slow roll it, and biggins hate this thing.
Yeah, but the thing is with these ones is you're gonna have to. The hookup ratio is not quite as well as with the treble hook, so they're gonna kind of have to get at a higher point to get a good hook in them. But so if I'm fishing anything but heavy cover, I always go to this one. Especially if I'm like fishing over top grass, I use this one. If I'm fishing more through grass or through shallower stuff, I'm fishing this one. But if you can, always fish this one because I think you get better hookup ratio with it.
All right, on to the next bait. All right, next bait we'll be talking about is the jig. You know, it's a classic springtime bait. Big fish love the jig. I mean, I don't know how many big fish I caught in the spring, but basically our preferable jig is the Outcast Cage Fighter and the Stealth Fighter. The Cage Fighter is more went for wood and docks, and then the Stealth Fighter right here is meant for more grass. Basically, it's got a vertical line tie, the Stealth Fighter does, and then the Cage Fighter has the horizontal line tie. So just different line ties go better through cover. The trailers we like to use is the X-Zone Adrenaline Craw in green pumpkin blue, green pumpkin, Bama Craw. They got a lot of great colors. All really depends on the water clarity that you're fishing, like black and blue and stained water. Really clear water, you want to throw Outcast Magic Craw with like a green pumpkin, but all depends on personal preference and like water clarity. Another trailer we like to use is the Strike King Rage Bug, Rage Menace, and Rage Craw. Those are all great, phenomenal jig trailers. I've used them all. And the one that's a sleeper is the Muscleback Craw. Me and Logan have caught monsters on the Muscleback Craw, both smallmouth and largemouth. So yeah, jigs are super versatile. You can fish them pretty much any depth, and big fish love the jig. On to the next bait. All right, next bait we got is the classic Senko with a wacky rig. Super simple. You know, it's a bait you can give to your brother if he's never fished before. You basically just throw it out there and let it sink to the bottom. Give it a few twitches, let it sink to the bottom. And big fish hammer this thing. I don't know how many big fish I've caught in the spring, but it's just absurd. Just hook it wacky rig. Basically take your hook, find the center of it, and you hook it wacky rig like that. And it just goes like that, falling through the water.
Talk about beds too. Yeah,
this is a great bed bait too. Bluegill beds and bass beds. You can throw this around bluegill beds and the bass are all over those. And then when you're on a bed, you just throw it right there. It goes right in the bass's face and they hammer it. On to the next bait. Next bait we're talking about is chatterbaits. A great springtime bait for basically any species of bass.
Alright, we preferably like to use Z-Man jackhammers, but you can also mix in a Strike King Thunder Cricket and others that we will end up talking about later. For colors, we like Beehive Delight, and along with that, we like Brett's Bluegill. Great colors, perfect for spring. Alright, for trailers, we like the Hog Farmer Spunk Shed. Is that what it is?
Yeah, Hog Farmer Spunk Shed. It's a funny name, but man, this trailer does crazy things in the water. With the chatterbait trailer, or with the chatterbait jackhammer, it moves like just crazy. You know, you get a lot of kick out of the tail. It's basically like a Kitech based body, and then a little tiny thin bulbous tail, and that thing moves crazy in the water. But they have lots of great colors in the Spunk Shad, and they actually licensed the Spunk Shad mold to Missile Bait, so they also have a lot of great colors in there. So if you don't like the colors in the Hog Farmer, just go to the Missile Baits and get them there.
Yep.
But it is a phenomenal chatterbait trailer.
And then the second trailer that we really like to use is the Z-Man Razor Shad. We like green pumpkin. What other colors?
Yeah, green pumpkin. There's like
Red
a breaking
bone.
brim, red bone, and the deal is a great one. It's got like a green pumpkin pearl with like a little blue hue to it, and that's a great color. It does a lot of things in the water. It's basically like a Yamamoto Zaco, but it's way more durable because it's the Z-Man plastics. That's why I personally use it, because it's a big money saver for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we'll get on to the variations of the chatterbait that we like.
For our first variation of the chatterbaits, we like to use a Z-Man Cross Eyes. Great around wood and cover. Because of the weed guard on it, allows us to get through that wood a lot better and help us get those fish under that wood. For our second variation of the chatterbait that we also like to use, it's the Z-Man Mini Max. Right? Max? Yep. It's great for when the fish are really picky or really tough in those cold fronts, or when they're just not hitting these bigger ones. Yeah, great for that. Along with smallmouth, absolutely pound this thing. Great chatterbait on the river and
just lakes too. I mean, it's really small compared to the jackhammer.
A lot smaller.
It's got a really small hook in there. It's great for when the bait fish are smaller too. But it's just all around just a great bait. It's glad Z-Man came out with that last year. But
perfect.
yeah. All right, we do have an honorable mention because it's just tough to narrow the list down to 5. And that honorable mention is a Z-Man Micro Shrooms finesse jig.
Yeah, so basically it's a jig but with a Ned head. Helps on the river especially. It helps those smallmouth see it better with all the skirts and that bigger trailer. So it's perfect for if they're not seeing that Ned or
basically if they're not biting. And also when like the current and it gets a little chocolate milk, me and Logan have absolutely smashed them on a Ned jig because it's just a little different to them, and it's a bulkier profile, so it helps them find them more. Basically what he was saying.
Yep.
But yeah, great all-around spring bait for smallmouth.
That's our honorable mention.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching today's video. It was a fun one to make. Hope you learned something, and hope you can use our tips and our baits to catching more springtime bass. Thanks for watching. Peace.